BTS concert turns dramatic, Taekook appears, fans immediately faint and lose control. What started as a typical concert night quickly transformed into something no one could have predicted. The lights, the music, the roaring crowd, everything felt familiar at first. Thousands of ARMY filled the stadium, their excitement building with every passing second. But beneath that excitement, something unexpected was about to unfold. The opening began with powerful beats shaking the entire venue. Each BTS member stepped onto the stage, greeted by deafening cheers that echoed through the night. Yet among all the energy, there was a subtle shift, something in the atmosphere that felt different. And then it happened. When Taeyoung and Jungkook appeared side by side at the center of the stage, the entire stadium erupted in a way that went beyond normal fan reactions. This wasn't just screaming, it was an overwhelming wave of emotion that swept through the crowd. Like a sudden storm, fans covered their mouths in disbelief. Some immediately burst into tears. Others stood frozen, unable to process what they were witnessing. Within moments, security and medical teams began receiving reports fans were fainting. "This is too real. I can't handle it," one fan reportedly said before collapsing and being carried out by staff. But the intensity didn't stop there. Taekook, long known among fans for their undeniable chemistry, seemed to elevate their interaction that night. Their eye contact lingered longer. Their movements felt more deliberate. The way they stood close to each other carried a kind of energy that fans couldn't ignore. Every small gesture triggered a massive reaction. Screams turned into sobs. Sobs turned into hysteria. In another section of the stadium, a fan reportedly lost consciousness near the barricade. She kept saying, "This is too much," before she suddenly fell, a witness shared. Medical teams moved quickly, escorting multiple fans out for treatment. Yet, surprisingly, instead of calming the situation, the emotional energy only intensified. The entire stadium felt like it was vibrating with emotion. Taeyoung was seen smiling softly, while Jungkook made several attempts to calm the crowd with gentle hand gestures. But instead of settling things down, those gestures seemed to make fans even more emotional. Every movement carried meaning. And then came the moment that pushed everything over the edge. During a deeply emotional performance, Taeyoung stepped closer to Jungkook. There were no words, no dialogue, just a brief interaction that lasted only seconds. But it was enough. The stadium exploded. Fans dropped to their seats. Some cried uncontrollably. Others physically couldn't stand, overwhelmed by what they were feeling. "This isn't just a concert. This is something else," one attendee said, voice trembling. Within minutes, clips of the moment flooded social media. Hashtags related to Taekook instantly dominated global trending topics. Thousands of fans shared their reactions online. "What just happened? I wasn't ready for this. This feels too real. I'm literally crying." But amid the emotional storm, questions began to rise. Was this moment truly spontaneous? Or was there something more behind it? Some fans believed the interaction felt unusually intense, more open, more emotional than ever before. Others speculated it might be part of a larger stage concept. No one could say for sure. But one thing was undeniable: the impact was real. What was meant to be a concert turned into a deeply emotional experience that blurred the line between performance and reality. It wasn't just about music anymore, it was about connection, feeling, and something that words struggled to capture. As the concert came to an end, the energy slowly began to settle, but the aftermath lingered. Many fans remained seated long after the show, staring at the now empty stage as if trying to relive what had just happened. Some couldn't even leave right away, still overwhelmed by the experience. Meanwhile, event organizers have yet to release an official statement regarding the fans who fainted. However, internal sources suggest that all affected individuals received proper medical attention. Still, the night left behind a lingering mystery. Was this simply an intense fan reaction, or a sign that BTS concerts have reached an entirely new emotional level? And perhaps the most intriguing question of all, if one moment could create such a powerful impact, what will happen next? One thing is certain, that night will never be forgotten. Because for those who were there, it wasn't just a concert. It was the moment when emotion took over reality. The aftermath of that night didn't end when the lights dimmed and the final song faded into silence. In fact, for many fans, that was only the beginning. Outside the stadium, the atmosphere remained just as intense. Groups of fans gathered in clusters, some still crying, others replaying videos on their phones, over and over again trying to make sense of what they had just witnessed. The air was filled with a mix of disbelief, excitement, and emotional exhaustion. "I feel like I'm still inside the concert," one fan said while holding on to her friend's arm. "It doesn't feel real, like I haven't woken up yet." Ambulances were still stationed nearby as medical teams monitored attendees who had fainted or experienced panic attacks during the show. While none of the cases were reported as critical, the sheer number of emotional incidents raised eyebrows. What exactly made this night so different? As more footage surfaced online, fans began analyzing every second of Taeyoung and Jungkook's interaction. Slow-motion edits, zoomed-in clips, and side-by-side comparisons quickly spread across platforms. Every glance, every step, every subtle expression became a topic of discussion. Some pointed out how Taeyoung seemed unusually focused on Jungkook throughout the performance. Others noticed how Jungkook's reactions appeared more intense, more expressive than usual. "It's not just what they did," a fan wrote online. "It's how it felt." There was something in the air, something different. Speculation grew rapidly. Was this a turning point? A hidden message? Or simply a moment amplified by the emotional energy of thousands of fans in one place? Entertainment analysts also began weighing in. Some suggested that the power of BTS concerts lies not only in their music, but in their ability to create deeply personal experiences for each attendee. When you combine strong emotional attachment, high expectations, and a live environment, reactions can become amplified, one analyst explained. Moments that might seem small on stage can feel enormous to fans. Still, even experts admitted this case felt unusually intense. Meanwhile, discussions about fan safety started to emerge. Clips showing fans fainting or being carried out sparked concern among viewers worldwide. Many called for better crowd management and more visible medical support at large-scale concerts. "Concerts should be exciting, but safety has to come first," one comment read. Despite the concerns, the emotional impact of the night continued to dominate conversations. By the next morning, the internet was flooded with headlines, reaction videos, and fan theories. The phrase, "Taekook moment," became one of the most searched topics globally. Some fans described it as legendary, while others called it overwhelming or even life-changing. But not everyone reacted the same way. A portion of the fandom urged others to remain grounded, reminding them that what happens on stage is still part of a performance. "We have to respect them as artists," one fan wrote. "It's okay to feel emotional, but we shouldn't lose control." This divide only added another layer to the ongoing conversation. Back at the venue, cleanup crews worked through the early hours of the morning, restoring the stadium to its original state. Yet even as the physical traces of the concert disappeared, the emotional imprint remained strong. Inside nearby hotels, fans continued discussing the event late into the night. Some couldn't sleep at all, still replaying the moment in their minds. "I closed my eyes and I could still hear the screams," another attendee shared. "It was like the energy stayed with me." As for BTS themselves, there was little immediate response. No direct mention of the incident, no detailed explanation, just a few brief acknowledgments of the crowd's energy. But even that silence spoke volumes. Because sometimes what isn't said becomes just as powerful as what is. And now, anticipation is building for the next concert. Will it happen again? Will the intensity rise even further? Or was this a once-in-a-lifetime moment that can never truly be repeated? Fans around the world are now watching closely, waiting for the next performance, the next interaction, the next hint of something extraordinary. Because if this night proved anything, it's that a single moment can change everything. And somewhere between the music, the lights, and the unspoken connection between two performers, a mystery continues to unfold.